Hello my friends, Phil Pravda here. Welcome to another video, and this is going to be a discussion video, something a little different. Haven't done this in a while, usually showing new products, doing unboxings, talking about how to fold your clothing for your luggage. If you haven't seen those, please watch them. Those are my most popular videos. But this is going to be one about tuxedos, a conversation about tuxedos. There's always confusion about tuxedos, confusion about styles, confusion about colors, confusion about what to wear, when to wear a tuxedo. So we're going to talk about that right now. So let me go get a tuxedo. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back everybody. Here I am. But you thought I was going to put on the whole tuxedo with the shirt and the bow tie. No, I wasn't going to do that, but I did put on the tuxedo jacket. This is a custom-made tuxedo, the most popular one that I make. This one is actually mine. I wore it to an event, I wore it to an event in December, so I haven't worn it lately. But tomorrow I will be delivering a tuxedo just like this one to a customer of Suit Cafe who is having a wedding at the end of September. So just to show you a little bit about tuxedos here. So what is a tuxedo? Well, a tuxedo is worn for formal wear. When someone says, oh, I have a black tie event, what does that mean? My tie is black? No, black tie event means that you wear a tuxedo. Now, of course, there are events that say black tie optional, which means you could wear a tuxedo or you could wear a nice formal looking suit. There are suits out there that are more formal looking than just say a plain charcoal gray or plain black or plain navy. There are tone on tone suits that have like a little micro fine herringbone in the wool, almost like a shadow stripe. And those are a little more formal looking. Always nice with a white French cuff shirt with those types of suits and a nice formal looking tie. You know, some tie like this, which is, a little more formal looking, this shiny silk satin tie. A little thinner tie here. So those are also nice and more formal looking, as I was wearing it with this plaid suit today, like you saw at the beginning of the video. But what are tuxedos? They're basically suits that have been changed and embellished with silk in different areas. Now, not so long ago, there were really only two types of tuxedos. And what were those types? There were two-button notch lapel or one button notch lapel, meaning you can close the tuxedo with only one button. There weren't two buttons here like a suit has. And it was a notch lapel, meaning it didn't have this. This is called peak lapel. So when you see this little point on both sides, which really is usually on a double-breasted suit, this is a peak lapel. So a notch lapel is what I had. Let me just get a notch lapel. Oh, my jacket is over here. Let me get my jacket as I step out of the frame for a momento. So this is notch lapel, just so you can see, which is basically this little cutout. Let me see if I can get it. This little cutout right here is a notch. So that's called notch lapel. This is a two-button, single-breasted notch lapel. Let me turn it around so you can see the buttons. There you go. Two-button, single-breasted notch lapel right there. So that's two-button, single-breasted. Now this same type of model is made in a tuxedo. So what do? They put silk on the lapels over here. The buttons are now silk covered buttons like I have right here, including the buttons on the front. And also the trousers have a silk stripe down the leg, as many of you may have seen. And another detail which you should know is that tuxedos do not have belt loops. So the tuxedo, I'm going to put my jacket down here. I'm going to show you the pants, which I have on the hanger in front of me. So here are the tuxedo pants. So I'll hold them up here. So you see the stripe down the leg, just like that. And by the way, this is 100% Super 150 wool tuxedo. So it's a fabric that you could wear in all seasons. That's the best type of tuxedo to have because not many people have 2 or 3 tuxedos. There are people who do, but there aren't that many. So usually you buy a tuxedo that's an all-season fabric. You can wear it winter, summer. You can travel with it if you have to go to a destination event, wedding or a charity event or whatever it might be. And you could take the tuxedo out and wear it at any time. Some people like to have a few tuxedos, a black tuxedo, maybe a tuxedo that's in a double-breasted and a single-breasted. And then there's the navy blue tuxedo, which is just unbelievably stunning. Dark midnight blue with the black silk on the lapel, which I don't have one here to show you, but it comes out really great. So talking about the waistband does not have any belt loops. No belt loops here. So when you make your tuxedo or you get it tailored, you want to make sure that the waist is just snug enough not to be tight, but also that it fits well enough not to make sure your pants are not drooping down the whole night while you might be sitting at the meal or you might be dancing or whatever it might be for the event. So that's the pant there. Now it's not just as simple as putting silk on a lapel, because if you want to see the inside of the jacket, the entire front fascia here, this is all silk all the way down. So it's all the way silk to the bottom, and it's all the way silk around on the lapel. Even the way I make these tuxedos with the, this is called peninsula pockets, with the fabric from the outside going around the pockets on the inside, that's also silk. And then we have a nice, anybody could pick whatever lining they want. This happens to be a burgundy, little pin dot, burgundy lining. So in terms of models again, you have the 2-button single-breasted notch, which could be a tuxedo that comes from the suits. You could have a double-breasted suit with a peak lapel, which is usually double-breasteds always have a peak lapel. There should not be any double-breasted suits with a notch lapel. That's not happening. Nowhere, no how, never. So you could take a double-breasted, make it into a tuxedo as well. And then probably the most popular tuxedo, which is a model that is reserved really for tuxedos, is this one, the single-breasted peak, which is one of my favorite models. It has now become popular over the last, you may have noticed it the last few years, but it's been more than 5 years that the 1-button or 2-button peak lapel single-breasted suit has become popular, and now that actually came from the 1-button or 2-button single-breasted peak lapel tuxedo, and then moved into suits. So it was the opposite. We had the tuxedo model that was pretty much reserved for tuxes, and that moved into a model for suits. So I sell them in peak lapel suits. I sell more notch lapel suits because most of my customers are business type of people. But if you look at Tom Ford and many celebrities online, they're all wearing the same suit. It's all Tom Ford. They're all wearing the exact same suit. And you could look at all kind of pictures on Instagram or on videos on YouTube. If you see celebrities on a red carpet and they're wearing suits or tuxedos, even with a vest, they're all wearing 2-button peak lapel with 2 pockets on one side. The little pocket's called the ticket pocket, and all that is Tom Ford. But everybody's wearing the same thing. And the little buttonhole on the lapel on the Tom Ford suits is elongated. That's how you can really see that it's one of his. But anyway, that's not neither here nor there. So there you have the 3 models of tuxedos. Just to recap, you have the 2-button notch lapel tuxedo, you have the double-breasted peak lapel tuxedo, and then you have this one, the single-breasted peak lapel tuxedo. All tuxedos should have silk-covered buttons. Whether they open or close here doesn't matter, but that it should all have silk-covered buttons, and all tuxedos have the silk stripe down the leg. Some might have a little more narrow stripe, some might have a wider stripe, and then you have tuxedos that are made out of different fabrics. You have all-season fabric like this, 100% wool. This happens to be Super 150 wool, but it's 100% wool. Doesn't have to be Super 150, but try and get 100% wool if you can, because then you could wear it in any season, winter and summer and travel. It travels great. If you want to be a little more adventurous, or maybe you already have a tuxedo in black, you can get a navy blue tuxedo. And I would say navy blue tuxedo, you can do it in double-breasted. I really don't see it in double-breasted, because double-breasted you have the buttons up on the chest, so you can have a lot of buttons here in black with the navy blue. I don't see navy blue tuxedo in double-breasted. I do see it in this model, the single-breasted peak lapel. It comes out gorgeous, and you could do navy blue in the 2-button single-breasted notch lapel as well. Now for the trousers of the tuxedo, they're usually always the same. So whether you have the jackets in different styles, the pants on the tuxedo are usually always the same. Mine are the flat front, no belt loops, trouser. It's a slightly slimmer fitting trouser with the stripe, with the silk stripe down the leg. And you also don't put a cuff on a tuxedo when you make the bottoms. Most things now are plain bottom anyway for suits. So usually, especially on a tuxedo, you want to have it to have a very sleek, sort of slimmer look, very clean, crisp look. So we don't put a cuff on a tuxedo. Years ago, when I had my stores, I had one salesman there who told every one of his customers when they bought a tuxedo, you should put a cuff on your tux. So, of course, his customers, they liked the way he put together their wardrobes for them, so they took his advice and they put a cuff on the tuxedo. So we did it for them. You don't want to dictate to someone how they should wear their clothing, but you want to just educate a little bit and say, usually a tuxedo has a plain bottom, but if you like a cuff, certainly you could put a cuff on it. There's no, there's not going to be any fashion police, jump on you at your event, say, wait, there's a cuff, get this guy out of the party. That's not going to happen. So I'm pretty much, that's pretty much the ABCs of tuxedos. There you have it. Very simple. It's not that difficult. For your next event, if you have any questions and you want to put them down in the comments about the different models of tuxedos. Oh, I should mention one more model that I forgot, which I never liked. The shawl collar tuxedo. That's the one with the rounded collar all the way around. A lot of people have been wearing shawl collar sort of lately. I've seen wide shawl collar. I've seen narrow shawl collar. I never liked it. I think I look like a waiter in a restaurant with a shawl collar tuxedo. That's my opinion. But that's a model that I never liked. Now, there's also the smoking jacket, which is basically a tuxedo jacket that you might want to wear with a different type of trouser. So that's a whole different look. Some people like to wear the creamy white tuxedo jacket that comes out beautiful in the single-breasted peak and also the double-breasted peak. And then you could take your black tuxedo pants and you could wear it with the black tux pants with your white wool smoking jacket with the white silk or the creamy silk on the lapel. You could do that. I made a jacket for, let's see, when was it? I think it was a year ago, May. I made that for someone who was getting married overseas. So it was going to be warmer weather. He wanted the white jacket. And he sent me pictures after the wedding to show how nice he looked. And I said, "Oh, Bob, the bride looked fantastic." And he said, "What do you mean the bride? Look at the jacket." He was all concerned about how great his jacket looked on him, which was nice to hear. And then there's velvet. Some people like to make the smoking jacket out of velvet. You can make a burgundy velvet. You could do emerald green velvet and also black velvet. That's very nice too. The emerald green is probably my favorite one of all. Emerald green velvet smoking jacket. And for the smoking jacket, I always recommend, instead of the silk satin, which you see over here, I recommend grosgrain. Grosgrain silk is a woven silk. It's a little bit heavier and it has a little texture on the silk if you know what grosgrain is. But it's spelled Grosgrain, grosgrain. So grosgrain is nice when the fabric of the tuxedo itself is a little heavier because you need some more substantial support on the lapels to hold the grosgrain. 100% wool thinner like this, when you put grosgrain, the grosgrain's a little heavy, looks too heavy on it. But when you have a velvet or you have maybe a tuxedo with a pattern, the grosgrain goes great. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave any comments or questions you may have, of course, down in the comments, and I will answer them. I answer everybody. Every single comment gets an answer across all my videos. There isn't anybody that I've missed in all the years I've been doing YouTube, and now my almost 8,000 subscribers, that I haven't answered their question or answered their comment. So please leave one. Subscribe and hit that notification bell, as everybody says, and give this one a thumbs up for that algorithm. And thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all when I'm back at it.